Fáilte, hello, welcome, Gamani Giariv, Law Bui Bealtaine Orav Goléir. Hello, happy Bealtaine to every one of you. Hope you're all keeping well. This is Live Irish Myths. I'm Anthony Murphy of Mythical Ireland. Welcome to episode 55. Coiga is a Coig, which is a very interesting number with regards to tonight's conversation, which we will hopefully get round to revealing shortly. Just to say that immediately afterwards, the Bealtaine fire will be lit on the hill of Uisneach. This year without the attendant crowds, but the custodian of Uisneach, David Clark, and his family are going to light the fire at 21:21 Irish time. That's 9:21 p.m. I'm intending to be finished the episode within maybe an hour or a little bit. I invite you then when we finish to go off and watch the live feed from the Uisneach page on Facebook. And then I am going to kindle a little fire here in honour of Bealtaine, and I invite you all to do likewise wherever you are in the world. If you have a fire pit or a hearth or a grate or a chimney or whatever you have, if you haven't got any of those, perhaps you might want to light a candle. And let's share all those videos and pictures on the Uisneach page and on the Mythical Ireland community afterwards. Anyway, a very good evening to all the viewers on YouTube and on Facebook. Aria Ivancic Art is the first one of the YouTubers tonight. Good evening. Aria Michelle Abraham says, I decided to be early this time, and she was indeed before we started. Brilliant. Aria says, ciao, here with fire lit. Brilliant stuff. Michelle Abraham says, got my heater on, if that counts. That's okay, Michelle. That'll do fine. Melissa O'Brien says, hi, Anthony. All Giaguch, Melissa. Mandy McCurl, hello, everyone. Hope you're well. Another sunny day here on the Isle of Mull. It was sunny here today, too, Mandy, in Glan, Nabonia, in the Boyne Valley. However, with a little bit of a cool nip in the air, given that the breeze was coming in from the east off the Irish Sea. Daniel Kedney says, hello there, Banachty. Banach Tosafane. Daniel, great to see you. Tina Hartzell is in Missouri in the USA. Fáilte Roat. Tina. And on Facebook, Pat Rowan is the first of tonight's viewers. Pat is in Port Townsend in Washington State. Fáilte, Pat. Lovely to see you again. Aaron Durrett is watching. Hello, Aaron. Alan Brayett says hello, Anthony Giaguch. Shannon Winokur is watching. Hello, Anthony Antua. Happy Bealtaine. Many happy returns, Shannon. Hope you are well. Barbara Barney says hi, Anthony Giaguch. Matt Byrne is watching in Drogheda. Hello, Matt. Margaret Kiernan says happy Bealtaine. 5/5. Yes, the 5th of the Quega. Let's get to that. Yvette Tillema says hello, Tua. Fáilte, Yvette. Natalie Lopez. Hello, Anthony and everybody. Well, nice to have you in the house this evening, Natalia. Pull up a pew, grab yourself a brew, and let's have some stories. Helen McManus says, hello from Scotland, just across the way. We could nearly wave across at you, Helen. Michael Naylor says, hello, happy Bealtaine to Anthony and the tribe. And that is Mike and Jeanette, who are in Princeton in New Jersey. Always great to see you guys. Barb Jordan says, hi, good evening. Fáilte, Barb. Aaron Durrett, it's that time, friends, the Anthony Wisdom and Wizardry Hour. Blessings of a gorgeous Bealtaine day from Vashon in Washington State, USA. And many happy returns, Aaron. Melanie Lynn is watching. Fáilte, Melanie. Margaret Ring is in the house. Blessings, Anthony and the Tua. Happy Bealtaine to all. August Tussafane, Margaret. Hope you are keeping good. Laura McCormick, killing all, checks in. Candle is lit. Prosperity to all in the Tua and beyond. Fantastic stuff, Laura. Thank you for joining us. Demi Woe, number 55 on 5/05. Yes, interesting numbers. Thera Hoekstra says happy Bealtaine, everyone. La Fela Bealtaine Ort, Teresa. Alex Casterton says, hello, Anthony. Evening, Anthony and tribe. Looking forward to the show. And of course, the Bealtaine fire tonight. Brilliant stuff. Ralph Waldron, happy Bealtaine from Athleague. Wonderful. You were earlier. Oh, I presume you were watching my live from Doubt. I didn't think it was going to happen. Couldn't happen at lunchtime today, but got out there. Oh, man. What a beautiful, beautiful what's the word? It's not coming into my head right now. Yeah, but you know what I say. Reunion. That's the one. Heather Guerin Rice has got my candle and cigar. I forgot my cigars. You'll have to forgive me. Erica Bow says, good afternoon. Trononawa, Erica. Kristen Gray Taggart says, happy Bealtaine to Anthony and Artua. The trip to Douth today made me so happy. You can imagine how I feel, Kristen, but it was lovely to be able to share it. Sharon Boggins Stitch says, looking forward to the lighting of the Uisneach fire. Greetings, Anthony and Tua from sunny Redding in California. The sun, Tasha Greenvar in you. It is sunny today. It seems everywhere, hopefully. Jennifer Foley says, hello, everyone. Giagwich, Jennifer. John Kavanagh says, go, Heather. Nick Eska Casterton, hello, Anthony and the two. I loved your live walk earlier. Beautiful scenes, Anthony. Yes, and lovely to hear all of the birds in full song and to see the gorse or the winds in full flower. Henry Paddy Shearman is in the house. Good evening, Tua. Wishing you all a beautiful summer this Bealtaine, and to you also. Francis Tute, who's involved in Uisneach, is watching, and Francis, of course, will be helping with proceedings later on Uisneach, and we're so looking forward to that. We'll all be heading over to the Uisneach page immediately after live myths this evening. Paula Farrell says hi, Anthony. Giagwich, Paula. John Kavanagh says hello from Auchlia, Dublin. We are all set for a fiery Bealtaine. Brilliant stuff, John. Ben Hancock says hello. Giagwich, Ben. Maeve Fina Callahan, Bealtaine greetings. Lovely, Tua. Hello, Maeve. Barbara Kling says happy Bealtaine from Vermont. Lovely to see you, Barbara. Pat Rowan says bless you, Tua. Banachty Orav. Jim Conway is in Orchard County, Lurgan. Giagrieve, hello. Melanie Lynn, looking forward to this. Uisneach is my favourite place to be in the world. Such profound experiences there the last couple of years. Yeah, it's an incredible place, isn't it? Freya Shahom says, Giagrieve, Anton, August Tua, Triononawa, Gach Dinner. So that means, hello, Anthony and Tua. Good evening, everyone. Happy Bealtaine all, says Matt Byrne. Hope you're able to get out and about and enjoy a bit of it, Matt. Judy McQueen says hello again. Falsha, Arish, isn't it? Oh, dreadful. I am relearning the Gaeilge. Tosi me ag fólam an Gaeilge inish. Cúpla seachtaina ó hin. Doris O'Hara says hello, Anthony and everyone. Falcha Doris. Margaret McKenna says hi there. Guido Bruce is watching. Hello, Guido. Falcha. Deborah Alland says hi, Anthony and Tua. Happy Bealtaine. Many happy returns, Deborah. Julianne Osborne is watching, and I may have missed you last night, Julianne. I was so engrossed in the books, I may have missed your hello, so apologies. Shelley Whistler says hello from San Diego in California. Fantastic stuff. Martin Smith is in Hollismere in Surrey. Candle ready. Brilliant stuff, Martin. Guido Bruce says, Godinavond, Anthony. Now, I presume that means good evening, Guido. If it doesn't, please correct me, and I probably butchered the pronunciation, so please forgive me. Carol Barrett says, Banachty all. Falcha, Carol. John Kavanagh. Falcha from Dublin. Down the road. We're all set for a fiery Bealtaine. Okay, good stuff. Mariana Dunn, greetings all from Virginia. Hi, Mariana. Julie Gerst says hello from VA Beach, VA. Where's VA? Is that Virginia? Pardon me. Lara Forsyth says, hello from Belfast, NI. My first time watching live. Falcha Moore. Good G. Lara from Balforishta. Everybody say hello to Lara. You're very welcome along to Live Irish Myths, Lara. And boy, have you got a lot of episodes to catch up on MythFlix. But you're going to enjoy doing so, hopefully. You're very welcome along here anyway. Megan Walter says, made it. Brilliant stuff. Patricia McAteer is watching, one of our regular locals. Hi, Patricia. Tom King. Hello again, Anthony. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time, Anthony. What a pleasure. Stoking up the forge, getting the fire ready. Story time. Yes, indeed. And we have to give Tom a very special mention. You probably didn't notice it because it's out of shot, but look at what I got as a lovely present today from Tom, who signs on YouTube as Heard a Shot. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Crafted in his forge. And not just that. Not just that. Look at that. It is my absolute honor and pleasure, Tom, to do these episodes. And it's a joy for me to do them. But thank you so much for your beautiful gifts. Extraordinary and beautifully crafted with love and attention and care in your forge in County Meath. The work of a true craftsman. You are our Gobnew, the smith hard at work over the forge, listening to live Irish myths. Isn't it just fantastic? I think that is a beaut. And I'm inclined to think that this one is going to end up mounted on the wall as a beautiful decoration somewhere in the house, somewhere close to the threshold, I would say. Tom, what would you think? But I'll let her decide, you know. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. Patricia says hello from Omeath. Patricia Falcha. Annie Newton says good evening, everyone. Hope you're all safe and well. And the same to you, Annie. We're keeping good this side anyway. Marlon O'Chirmack. Hello, Anthony. Falcha, Marlon. Lovely to see you again. Megan Walters, greetings all. Hi, Megan. Paul Keating is in Tipperary enjoying the great talks. Trenonawa, a fall. Conasata to Uisneach. Bealtaine blessings, Anthony. Uisneach is here. Guys, Uisneach is here. It's a great honour, and we will be joining you immediately afterwards for your wonderful fire. What a fabulous thing for you guys to be doing. Rowan Grove says it's sunny but windy in Colorado. Exactly the same weather as here in Ireland. Well, here on the east coast of Ireland, the hawthorn is leafing out. The choke cherry is blooming, and there is a red-winged blackbird singing in the elm tree. That sounds just sublime, Rowan. Josephine Meehan says greetings all. Fáilte. Marlon, do we light our candle tonight, or was it last night? No, that's tonight. 21 minutes past 9. Irish time, 21:21, which I think at the moment is summertime, so it's universal time +1, isn't it? On Creoch, Katrina is in the house. Thank you, Katrina. Megan Walters, reunion, yes, exactly. Really enjoyed the Douth expedition, says Rowan Grove. Yeah, reunion. Oh, these comments. There must be a lot of comments because that was ages ago, wasn't it? Yvette Tillema, happy Cinco de May. Sherilyn McFetrich, sorry I'm late. Love from Boston. It's perfectly okay. Graw more for O'Haran. You're fine, Sherilyn. We've loads of time yet. Nora Gaffney O'Connor just made it. Can't wait for this. Hi, Mary, round the corner. Cheesecake and bot choc. Nice. Grace Walker. Hi and blessed. Hi all and blessed Bealtaine. Fáilte, Grace. Jennifer Hayden Smith. My first time watching. Looking forward to listening. Fáilte, Jennifer. It's very nice to have you here. Helen Guinan is watching. Hello. Hope everyone well. Everybody genuflect. Royal bow, Your Majesty. Deborah Alland, such happiness in your voice at Doubt, Anthony. Yeah, could you tell, huh? Josephine Ruth Weatherford says, greetings from Austin, Texas. We're having a lovely, windy, overcast day. Can't wait for the fire lighting. Brilliant. Darren Egan, it was a lovely day. Indeed it was. Jim Conway, the Irish yogi, A.E. Russell wrote, our Gaelic ancestors beheld the same overworld as revealed in the Upanishads of Danu, the Hibernian mother of gods. I have already, every time I click see more, it doesn't show me more, it shows me something else. The Hibernian mother of gods, I've already said, she is the first spiritual form of matter and therefore beauty, wonderfully expressed in A.E., of course, the poet and genius that he was. Thalia Brown says, hello, Anthony and Tua, looking forward to this episode and the lighting of the fire afterwards. Miriam Doyle Baschat says, hello, Anthony, greetings from Baltimore in USA. Hello, Miriam, Fáilte. Movanwe Millward says, hi, everyone, beautiful evening here in Bristol. My candles are ready. Forgot about the live Douth tour. I'll catch up. Not to worry, Movanwe, lovely to have you along anyway. Marissa Rodriguez is in Portugal. Trenonawa, Marissa, lovely to have you along. Darren Egan, any link between this and the Faroe Islands? Not sure is the quick answer. Lobui Bealtaine is the traditional greeting for the day that's in it. Golden Bealtaine a Chorge. Lobui Bealtaine. What does that literally mean, Katrina? It just means yellow day of May. Mark Ledger says, good day, Tua, from Townsville, North Australia. Light the fires worldwide. Fantastic stuff, Mark. Good morning to you from the Boyne Valley. Serena Swift says, hello all, happy Bealtaine. Lobui Bealtaine Ort, Serena. Big congrats to all the art on Mythical Ireland community and Megan Walters sourdough. Megan Walters sourdough. Yes, I'm loving all of the artworks being shared on the Mythical Ireland community. It's fantastic. Hello, happy Bealtaine, says Kathy May Deo from Newcastle, Washington State, USA. Brilliant stuff. And Sharon Schoen is in Pasadena, California. Amazing walk through Douth earlier. Thank you. It was my great honor, Sharon. Guido says I pronounced it very well, and indeed it is good evening. Fantastic. Nadasan Genasan Pillay says, Bealtaine Honol Giv Ospalia Auclia. You're very, very welcome, and thank you. Nancy Wells Brewer is in Orinda, California. Loved your visit to Douth today. So did I. Be careful. lighting your fires, folks, says Dave Russell. You can get 7 years in the pokey for that crack. Don't ask me how. I know. Hi, everyone. Veronica Casey says, good evening, everyone. Tranonawa. Beautiful blacksmithing. Yes, isn't. So I'm just catching up on the comments about the beautiful works created in Tom's forge. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Hail the smith. Absolutely. We have a gobnu or a goinu smither in the tua. Love the penannular brooch. Yeah, isn't that like a little lyre? You can imagine what kind of music the Danans could pluck from that, huh? Anne McVeigh is watching. Fáilte Anya, Conas Atatu, Tranonawa. And Anne is in Drogheda. She is here locally in the Boyne Valley. Paul Garron, what part of Meath, Tom? I'll let Tom talk to you about that. Barbara Murphy says, hi all from Tucson in Arizona. Fáilte, Barbara. Jack Durkin, hi everyone. Sorry I'm late. It's great. It's okay, Jack. We haven't started the stories yet. Deborah Aland, beautiful smith work. Sunny and breezy also in Newcastle, says Kathy May. Federica Guy says, hi Anthony. Hi Tua. Ciao, Fáilte, Federica. Jennifer Hayden Smith is in Michigan in the USA. You're very welcome, Jennifer. Michael Halloran says, greetings from Iowa. Tranonawa. And good evening to you. Adele Perth says, happy Bealtaine, everyone. Adele is in Adelaide in Australia. So it's very early in the morning there. Wonderful to see you, Adele. Happy Bealtaine. Lobui Bealtaine Ort. Mags Tyrrell says, hi from Limnock. She is in Limerick. Great to see you, Mags. Okay, excited for this Royal Geoglyph. Bealtaine bless it all. Lovely metalwork. County Leitrim. That's Pete Farrell. Hi, Pete. Lovely to have Leitrim in the house. I'm sorry, yes, Virginia Beach in Virginia, says Julie. Yeah, no problem at all. That's what I figured, but I just wanted to make sure. Aaron Eckard says, hello all from Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. Fáilte, Aaron, lovely name. Bunny Thompson says, hello from Alabama in the USA. Fáilte. Julie Gerst, my first time watching. Good evening to everyone. Julie, you're very, very welcome. And I'm sure that you will get a Cade Meal of Fáilte, 100,000 welcomes from the rest of our lovely Tua, our lovely tribe. I really enjoyed your visit to Doubt today. Fascinating, says Thomas Kane. Thank you, Tom. Tom King, thank you so much, Anthony, and one and all. I really appreciate the very kind shout out. Man, bit emotional after that from my little forge. So welcome. Thank you so much, Anthony. So generous. They will bring your Tua good luck. Well, Tom, thank you again, very generously from the bottom of my heart. It's a great honor. Sheila Hawkins is in San Mateo in California, and we're saying hello to Sheila. Fáilte. Kelly Sewell is in Vermont working outside in the cold. Keep warm, Kelly. Hopefully you'll be able to light a bit of a fire and keep you warm in a while. Vicky Wallace-Southall says, hello, my lovely friends, pulling up a chair by the fire. Great to hear it. Buy is yellow. The Bealtaine flower is the marsh marigold. Golden yellow is the gorse or furze, as you saw today. Nonini are good because of the yellow centres. Brilliant. Mary Cloran says, good evening, everyone. What a beautiful day. Absolutely, Mary, tá fáilte rát. Oh, wow. And Blonid O'Sullivan, whose name means flower, fáilte from Chicago. Beautiful ironwork. It's great to see you, Blonid. Fáilte. And on YouTube, just to catch up, Philip Blair says, aloha from Washington State, USA. John Main, Jehave Lat Os San Francisco. And John is saying hello from San Francisco. Sandrine Brady, bonsoir d'Orléans, city of Joan of Arc in France. Bonsoir, mon ami, Sandrine. Philip Blair, what a nice surprise. Absolutely, you're right. A beautiful surprise. James Cecil, hello from Tulsa. Okay, glad you're in good spirit. That's Oklahoma, isn't it? Good evening to you, James. Irish technical thinker, greetings from Marcus and Rachel. Thank you again to you and this community for the thoughts and prayers for us. God bless you all. Drinking mead by the fire with popping embers. Lovely. Sounds nice. And again, our sympathies to Rachel on her bereavement. Tina Hartzell says, sunny and windy in Missouri too. Sounds like we're all sharing the same weather. Michelle Abrams, could someone put the Uisneach link up for later, please? Perhaps somebody might do that. The link to the Uisneach Facebook page. And that's perfectly okay, Michelle. She's not quite sure how to spell it. So perhaps some of you will share the Uisneach link. Sorry, that has to be on YouTube, doesn't it? Sure, look, give me a second. Give me a second. Not this. No, let's not worry about it at all. I'll share. I'll share the Uisneach link for you. It's just facebook.com/Hill of Uisneach. So there you go. Hopefully that will work for you. Hopefully that will work for you, Michelle. D. Lynn, awesome artworks. Yes, you're right. Tom is very talented. He is our gobnew. Helene McCreevy says hello from San Luis, California, or SLO. Ms. Mireann Ibarra, whose name I think is Mireann, says hello, happy May Day from Mireann on the Isle of Alameda, California. Bless us all. Thank you so much for sharing, Anthony. Sure, look, it's my great pleasure. Right. I think we'll press on with it. Or uisneach.ie for the website. Yeah, but I think they'll be doing the live broadcast on their Facebook page. And perhaps the Uisneach page and Francis Tute are both on watching here. Perhaps, guys, you'll just clarify for us just to make sure that we have the right link for watching the live fire later on. Anyway, to get to Uisneach, what are we on? 21 minutes. I think that's the longest intro we've ever had. Okay, just take a note of that. Episode 55. Skip to 21 minutes if you're watching on YouTube and your time is precious. We're going to talk about Uisneach tonight. Uisneach is, well, what is to say about Uisneach or Uisneach? Uisneach is the sacred centre of Ireland, described as umbilicus hiberniae, the navel of Ireland, the sacred fifth province, the meeting place of the other four provinces, representing a mystical or a magical sacred fifth province. Not a territory as such, but a province of the heart and the soul and the mind, maybe. Where do we start? Uisneach in me, M-I-D-E, which with the Lenitian, I think is pronounced me, Midge, some people would call it, and giving rise to the modern county name of Meath, the Middle Land. Anyway, let us start with a reading from a wonderful book. And this one is a very scholarly work, but at the same time, I think it strikes the right balance of a scholarly study and, a sort of a transcendent or otherworldly theme to it. And this is Celtic Heritage by Rhys and Rhys, Alwyn and Brinley Rhys, Ancient Tradition in Ireland and Wales, Celtic Heritage, published originally in 1961, reprinted 1969, and that is by Fens and Hudson, just in case you're looking for a copy somewhere. Whereas Tara is the seat of kingship, several considerations associate Uisneach with the Druids. It was at Uisneach that Mia, eponym of Meath, chief druid of the people of Nemed, lit the first fire. That's M-I-D-E, but as I say, with the Lenitian would be M-I-D-H-E, Mia. The fire blazed for 7 years, quote, so that he shed the fierceness of the fire for a time over the 4 quarters of Ireland, unquote. From that fire were kindled every chief fire and every chief hearth in Ireland. And so, folks, immediately you can see how it's important for us tonight to watch the sacred Bealtaine fire being lit by David and his family at Uisneach. And then we will light our fires afterwards in honour of that very ancient tradition. Mello Nello, who is Neil, says, hi, Anthony, and hello, the Tua. Fáilte Nello, good to see you this evening. Katrina thought she was back at Mass. A reading from the Gospel according to Rhys and Rhys. From that fire, yes. Wherefore Mia's successor is entitled to a sack of corn with a pig from every housetop in Ireland. And the indigenous Druids said, evil me J upon M-I fada D-E fada upon. To us is the fire that has been kindled in the land. On Mia's instructions, these druids were marshalled into a house and their tongues were cut out. Charming. He buried the tongues in the ground of Uisneach and sat upon them. Pardon me. Another story of the lighting of a symbolical fire is linked with the neighbourhood of Uisneach. It is told to explain how Delbaith got his name. Banished with his 5 sons from Munster, quote, he went to the cairn of Fechu and kindled there a druidical fire, out of which burst 5 streams of flame. And he set him a son to each stream. From these descend the 5 Delbnas, hence the name Delbaid, shape fire, clung to him. The lighting of a fire as a ritual proclamation of the ascendancy of the one who lights it occurs in several other Celtic stories. For example, St. David, on taking possession of the land which bears his name, lit a fire to the dismay of the local chieftain. Quote, the kindler of that fire shall excel all in powers and renown in every part of that the smoke of his sacrifice has covered, even to the end of the world, unquote. And that reminds us of St. Patrick, who we met in the episode on St. Patrick's Day, who did the same thing. Similarly, St. Patrick, through lighting the Paschal fire, usurped the privileges of the Druids who were preparing a fire at Tara. The story of the founding of the monastery at Loch Ree by St. Ciaran recounts Nemed's company of 8. Quote, with 8 upon the Loch, Ciaran travelled, but with 1,200 on land. A fire was lit by the clergy. Said his wizards to Diarmait, the purpose for which yon fire is kindled tonight is such it will never be put out. According to the Welsh laws, the right to enter and occupy land which one's father occupied until his death was the right to uncover the fire. Mention may also be made of the firm tradition that a humble squatter who builds a house on the waste during the course of one night and has smoke rising from the chimney by the dawn of a new day gains possession of the site and the land around to the distance of which he can throw an axe from his cabin doors. In the Rig Veda, the arrival of the 5 kindreds and the 8 Aditas marks the birthday of the universe, the origin of months and days, the spring tide of the cosmic year, when dawn first shone for a man. On landing, their first concern is to establish on earth a ritual in imitation of the first sacrifice. In Irish tradition, and we saw this last night in our episode about Bealtaine, Partholón, Tuatha Dé Danann, and the sons of Meal are all said to have struck the land of Ireland at Bealtaine, the beginning of a new summer, the time of year when it is the custom to rise early to see the dawn breaking, and when ship processions used to form a part of the folk ritual in several of the coastal districts of Britain. It is said that the Great Assembly of Uisneach used to be held at Bealtaine, and though we are not told at what time of year the people of Nemed landed, it is a safe presumption that Mia's fire is the archetypal Bealtaine fire. Cormac's glossary, as well as Keating's history, states that Bealtaine fires served to preserve cattle from disease throughout the following year, and the glossary also says that the Druids chanted spells over the fires. The custom of kindling them with a fire drill survived in some districts until modern times, and Bealtaine continued to be the occasion when the lighting of the fire on the hearth of every home was charged with danger and significance. The Druids of Gaul used to hold a central assembly, which was no doubt the counterpart of the Great Assembly of Uisneach mentioned in medieval texts. Caesar testifies that, quote, on a fixed date in each year, they hold a session in a consecrated spot in the country of the Carnutes, which is supposed to be the centre of Gaul. Those who are involved in disputes assemble here from all parts and accept the Druids' judgments and awards. It is noteworthy that among the few details that have survived concerning Uisneach is the tradition that it was at a great meeting held there by the 3 noble tribes who divided Ireland that the first judgment respecting distress was passed in Ireland. According to the Dinshanachus, it was at a great peacemaking assembly held there that the death of Lugh was encompassed by the 3 grandsons of the Dagda, an event which would doubtless contribute to the sanctity of the spot in pre-Christian times. Giraldus Cambrensis records that the stone of divisions, Isle na Mireann, and that is the one you see in the graphic for today's episode, also called the Cat Stone, at Uisneach is, quote, said to be the navel of Ireland, unquote. And in a poem, Fintan says, presumably Fintan Mac Bocra. It is long since I drank a drink of the deluge over the navel of Uisneach. This is no chance metaphor. The centre of the world is symbolized as the navel or omphalos in many other traditions, ranging from Indonesia to Greece and Peru. Nor is the choice of Uisneach as the site of the original fire fortuitous, for the belief that there is a hearth or a fire altar at the midpoint is also common to other cosmologies. According to the Pythagoreans, there is a fire at the center of the universe. Agni, the Vedic sacrificial fire, is the navel of the earth. Quote, this altar is the furthermost border of the earth. The sacrifice is the navel of the world, unquote. Agni is also a pillar at the parting of the ways and is compared to a column supporting the 5 kindreds. The pillar stone at Uisneach was 5-ridged, symbolizing the 5 provinces at the center. Around it was marked out a measure of land, consisting of the portion of each province in Uisneach. Here, as at Tara, the world was symbolized by a series of microcosms, each set within the other. In the cosmologies of other lands, the center is often an axis which extends from the netherworld to the heavens above, uniting the universe vertically as well as horizontally. And I love that idea, the idea that perhaps Isle na Mireann at Uisneach served as some sort of an axis mundi, a world axis, but also one which was connected to the sky, and therefore as above, so below, heaven's mirror. And of course, the sky has the equivalent Niaha, the northern star, the North Star in Irish, called Niaha, which means that which does not turn. Or at the centre there is a shaft, which is the mouth of the nether regions into which the waters of the deluge flowed, a hole in the ground, like the Roman mundus, into which the spirits of the dead depart, or an oracular cave, as at Delphi. No tradition of this kind survives at Uisneach, unless it be that the tongues of the Aboriginal Druids beneath it have that significance. I just want to point out that in that book that I read, a very brief, very brief snippet from one night, my new book, which hasn't been published yet, Return to Segish, Uisneach, there's a very significant episode at Uisneach in which I describe this narrow, boring sort of tunnel, a borehole that goes right down into the earth underneath Uisneach. And I don't precisely know where that arose for me in my visions and dreams, but it turns out that it's possibly may have some relevance. But we would suggest that the other world is represented there in another way. West Munster, the outer 5th province, which leads to the House of Dun, has its place at Uisneach along with the other 4 provinces. It is perhaps significant that whereas the sons of Meal encountered the kings of the Tuatha De Danann at Tara, it was in West Munster and at Uisneach that they held converse with the queens, and that's Banba, Fola and Eriu, who are the topic of tomorrow night's episode. At Tara, the bounded cosmos is represented by 4 within 4 within 4. At Uisneach, the cosmos, together with its source in the primordial chaos, is represented by 5 within 5 within 5. Hence, the Irish name for a province is Quega. Isn't it Quega or Quegu? Quega, which basically means 1/5. So it is significant that today we're talking about Uisneach on the 5th of the 5th, episode 55. And we're talking about the Quega. In the stories, Uisneach has no ramparts. It differs from the 4-sided Mount Meru of Indian tradition, that's the world mountain, and other pyramidal symbols of the centre, and compares rather with the 5-pointed star and the 5-petaled flower with which the alchemists sometimes represented the quintessence in the centre of the cross of the elements. In the diverse cosmologies, the mountain in the center of the earth is the source of the world's rivers. The center is symbolized not only by a mountain, a pillar, a fire altar, and a tree, a sacred tree in Ireland, Billa. Remember we were talking about yesterday, Billa Tinna or Billa Henna, the sacred fire tree where Amergin met his end, but also by the well of life. There is more than a suggestion of this in the derivation of 12 chief rivers from a mythological event which occurred at Uisneach. It was during an assembly held there at the occasion of Diarmid, son of Caravel, that a great hailstorm fell upon the gathering. Such was its greatness that the one shower left 12 chief streams in Ireland forever. Another version of the story attributes the streams to a miracle wrought by St. Ciaran to relieve a drought, and just as Mia, who lit the first fire, was entitled to a hearth tax, so Ciaran was entitled to a general cess throughout Ireland. In the colloquy of the ancients, when Coilche, Patrick, is that Coilche, C-A-I-F-O-D-A-L-T-E, Coilche, Patrick and their companions were, quote, at the pillar stone of Uisneach, unquote, Oisin went in search of water for the feast, and I think this is fascinating. He went alone and kept his face turned backwards to see that no one watched him. In this fashion, he came to the white-rimmed well of Uisneach, which no one had found since the Battle of Gowra. Finfleskach, isn't it, is the name of the well. There he saw 8 beautiful salmon, clothed in their diversely shaded hues, the intimacy of the place being such that they needed not to fear anything. And this sounds like a cognate of the well of Segish, from which the rivers the Boyne and the Shannon are said to have their origin, and where indeed the salmon of knowledge was said to have swum and feasted on the hazelnuts which dropped into the well from the 9 sacred hazel trees that grew over it. He took 8 sprigs of watercress and 8 of brook lime, and dipping a pail into the well, he scooped up the 8 salmon alive and plunging madly. On his return, and that is very interesting again, folks. I'm sorry to interrupt the story. I had a very, very interesting and weird dream last night, and suddenly it makes a tiny little bit of sense. If I told you, you would just say, no, that's just weird. It's got to do with fish and water. Let's just put it that way. So that's really, another little synchronicity there. On his return, he set the vessel with the cress and brook lime floating in it before the King of Ireland, and the night was spent in feasting and storytelling, which sounds exactly like what we're doing here. What about the feasting, folks? We're going to have to decide what we're having to feast. I mean, unless you're a vegetarian, I mean, I had bacon for dinner actually only a couple of hours ago, and pig feasting, of course, was the big thing in prehistoric Ireland. Uisneach is not, in fact, the hydrographic centre of Ireland, but the derivation of the 12 streams from a miracle wrought there would appear to endow it with that significance. Although Tara was the centre of political power, Uisneach may once have equalled it in prestige. Pardon me. That's the bacon repeating. According to the 11th century Book of Rites, Meath, of which Uisneach is the centre, contained Brea, the province of Tara. Meath proper consisted of 5 free kingdoms and 5 tributary kingdoms. Brea consisted of 6 tributary kingdoms only, one of which was that of the Déisi. The two seem to have complementary roles in the national ritual. And of course, they were described, weren't they, as the 2 kidneys in the same beast, that is Tara and Uisneach. I don't want to read any more of that. I do also want to read from an absolutely fabulous, I was going to say it's a paper, but I actually think it's a chapter from a book, Landscapes of Cult and Kingship. And it's Roseanne Schott, Conor Newman, and Adele Vranach. And I just want to read snippets from this. Again, always conscious of copyright and don't want to breach copyright and want to just maintain myself within the limits of what would be called fair use. But I have some highlighted sections here that I think you'll be interested in. The Hill of Uisneach is a broad and imposing limestone ridge, almost midway between Ballymore and Mullingar in County Westmeath, and thus lies, rather fittingly, at the approximate centre of Ireland. In some early sources, Uisneach is portrayed as the meeting place of the 5 ancient provinces, consisting of Ulster, Leinster, Connacht, and Munster, the latter divided into 2 halves. These and other alternative schema that purport to describe a proto-historic 5-fold division of the island become increasingly elaborate from about the 10th century and have been shown to reflect a specific ideological agenda associated with the Ineal kings of Tara. They are the descendants of Niall, of the 9 hostages Niall. Ineal, sons of Niall. Indeed, whatever the historical veracity of a bipartite division of Munster, the dominant alternative tradition, which identifies Mia as the elusive 5th province centred on Tara appears to have no historical basis whatsoever. O'Reilly has noticed that the name Mia was originally used to denote not a province, but a district of land immediately surrounding the hill of Uisneach, and there's considerable evidence to demonstrate that up to at least 500 AD. Here we go. With the expansion of Clan Colman's power in the 8th century, Mia evolved into a vast over-kingdom, encompassing all of modern Westmeath, as well as parts of Longford and Offaly. And at the end of the 10th century, when Niall Shechnal MacDonald succeeded in extending the dynasty's sphere of influence eastwards, the meaning of the name was broadened further to include Brea. It is this much enlarged over-kingdom of Mia, or Meath, containing both Uisneach and Tara within its orbit, that we see reflected in the likening of these dual centres to, quote, two kidneys in a beast, unquote, and the declaration that, quote, it was right to take the 5 provinces of Ireland from Tara and Uisneach, unquote. Yet the perception of Uisneach as the centre point of Ireland could just as well be based on an older tradition that places far greater emphasis on its role as the centre of the cosmos and axis mundi. It is this concept of centrality that is most pervasive in the early literature, with Uisneach consistently portrayed as a place of origins and beginnings linked to the other world, as a place where druidic and other divinely inspired judgments and proclamations are made, particularly regarding the cosmological divisions of the island, as a place of assembly with traditions of a fire cult, and as the site of an omphalic stone, a mystical well, and a sacred tree. Certainly, the very name Mia, or Midja, as some people call it, recorded in the earliest written sources, implies that some conception of the medial position of Uisneach was already current by the late 6th century, and this is continually reinforced by the widely used place name Uisneach Mia, which has been variously translated as the temple's or angular place or hearth in the middle. Closely reminiscent of the Gallic Medionemeton, central sanctuary, each of these designations is fitting in its own way. Uisneach's association with fire, for example, is well known according to the Dinshanachus. It is the place where Mia, the chief druid of Nemed, lit the sacred flame that shed the fierceness of fire for 7 years over the 4 quarters of Erin, which we saw already. The pseudo-etymology provided for Uisneach in Dinshanachus, Uisneach, which has been translated by the editor as over somewhat, is also potentially significant as it may bear some reference to the physical elevation of the hill and its unrivaled prospect over the central plain of Ireland. It is a vista frequently invoked in descriptions of the medial status of the hill, and one most commonly expressed with reference to the 4 cardinal points. Thus, in his manifestation as an all-seeing sun god in Tuchmark Bealtaine, and we had that, didn't we, folks? We've seen that and relayed versions of that story several times, but we had 2 episodes about the wooing of Bealtaine. For example, we are told of the wide prospect over which the Dagda presides at Uisneach, with, quote, Ireland stretching equally far from it on every side, to south and north, to east and west, unquote. Representations of this nature seem to point to a cosmological structure based on what Yi Fu Tuan describes as oriented mythical space, which places the individual at the center of the universe. There you go, Katrina. You just said you always thought yourself, being a Mullingar woman, as being at the center of the universe. In this instance, with the 4 directions oriented around a central axis, here the point of observation. By ignoring the logic of exclusion and contradiction that characterizes more pragmatic, scientific conceptions of space, moreover, mythical representations allow for the coexistence of multiple centers, although, as Tuan notes, one center may dominate all the others. This inherent flexibility may provide the key to understanding how cosmological schema can be accommodated quite readily within evolving geopolitical frameworks while simultaneously transcending corporeal divisions. A number of scholars have noted the identification of Uisneach as the navel of Ireland in early literature is paralleled by representations of the centre of the cosmos as a mountain, a pillar, a fire altar, a tree, or a well of life in many other cultures and religious traditions around the world. And of course, that is actually the footnote for that is Rhys and Rhys, Celtic Heritage, which we've just been reading from. Some of the places previously singled out for mention in this context include sites in Wales, France, Rome, Greece, Jerusalem, India, and China. And there are clearly others, etc., etc. This suggests that societies in Ireland were participant to a cult of the centre that is almost universal and raises the very intriguing prospect that the perception of Uisneach as an axis mundi was at one time fundamental to its role and significance. And however universal those motifs may be, what grounds them and makes them meaningful in a native context is the specific manner in which they are inscribed into the landscape. As well as fire, for example, Uisneach is also closely associated with water, a relationship that reconciles well with its no pun intended, sorry about that. With its geographical position at the junction of two major river systems in a landscape hemmed in on all sides by bodies of water, the River Inny and its tributary, the Dungolman to the north and west, and Loch Owl, Loch Ennel, and the River Brosna to the east and south. I do not want to read it all, and I'm just going to read snippets. And of course, it is associated with Lugh as well. A particularly striking feature of these and other representations of Uisneach as a place of origins is that they harmonise so closely with tangible physical realities. As alluded to above, Uisneach is in fact surrounded on all sides by a dense network of streams and minor rivers that drain either towards northwards to the River Inny or southwards to the Brosna, and what is more, is itself the source of several curious watery features. The most conspicuous of these is a large pond fed by an underground spring that occupies a slight hollow midway along the crest of the summit, with gently rising ground to the west, east, and south, known locally as Loch Lugh. This is almost certain to be the body of water identified in the Dinshanachus as Loch Lugh, where the god Lugh is said to have been, quote, killed and drowned, unquote, during an assembly on Uisneach by the divine trio Macol, Macecht, and Mireann. And we met those, didn't we, in a previous episode, where we said that their names are significant. Macol meaning son of the hazel, Macecht meaning son of the plough, and Mireann meaning son of the sun. That shiny thing that we see in the sky today. Two other springs, Tubal na Sloth, the Well of the Rods, and St. Patrick's Well, each a bountiful source of clear flowing water, occur on the undulating southern slopes of the hill. The names of both springs were first recorded in 1837 by John O'Donovan, who again we have met in lots of episodes, the Ordnance Survey gentleman, who was also the first to identify Tubal na Sloth as the spring of Uisneach, named in Fin Flescach, the bright and flourishing spring. So Tubal na Sloth, meaning well of the rods, is also alternatively called Fin Flescach, the bright and flourishing spring. In the late 12th century tale, Achaló na Sonorach, the colloquy of the ancients. Representing yet another exposition of the otherworldly attributes of the hill, the relevant passage relates how Oisín, the legendary Fiann warrior, attained to the spring containing 8 speckled salmon of great beauty, and we saw this already, but no harm to repeat, from the time of the Battle of Gower to that time none of the men of Ireland had found. The sudden appearance in recent decades of another large pond on the southern slope of Uisneach is also noteworthy, as this is a phenomenon that perhaps had precedence in antiquity and may in such an instance have served to further enhance the aura of the hill. The depiction of Uisneach as a source of primordial waters represents but one manifestation of a more widespread symbolism of the centre that is perhaps most evocatively expressed by the omphalic stone called Umbilicus Hiberniae, the navel of Ireland, by Giraldus Cambrensis, and earlier still described as the meeting point of the 5 ancient provinces. This stone, again, just if you're joining us, that is the one that is featured on the graphic for today's episode. This stone, which is said to have been divided into 5 by the points of the provinces running towards it, is no mere figment of the imagination, but rather has long been identified with a massive, fragmented glacial erratic on the western slope of Uisneach, nowadays popularly known as the Cat Stone. A very conspicuous landmark, measuring over 4 meters in height and 5 meters in breadth, the stone must have attracted attention from the earliest times, and over the course of its life history is likely to have been imbued with a wide range of meanings. As the most prominent by far of a vast assortment of stone erratics and outcrops strewn across the hilltop, it is almost certain to be the stone called Petra Corrigi, Patrick's Rock, by Tirachawn in circa 690 AD, and the feature that inspired the cursing of the stones of Uisneach in the 9th century Vita Tripartita. Although the stone is now understood to be of natural derivation, there are indications that, up until relatively recently, its origins may have been more commonly explained by reference to distant ancestors, divine beings, or an important cosmological event, thus reinforcing the link between people and the land they inhabited. This is suggested quite explicitly in the Middle Irish tale, though, I have to be careful here, the Huidigud Taillach Chaura, the settling of the manor of Tara, which relates how the stone was set up and the forach was marked out during the reign of Diarmid MacCarroll, that is Dermot, son of Carrabal, or Dermot MacCarroll, as king of Tara, which appears to be in the 6th century sometime, to proclaim in a very visual way the time-honoured status of Uisneach as the navel of Ireland. O'Donovan's remark that the stone had been remodelled to form a splendid cromlech on which the pagan Irish offered sacrifices demonstrates that belief in a human element to its design endured well into the 19th century and is a potent reminder that our tendency to distinguish between culture and nature, built and natural features of the landscape, is a relatively recent and mainly Western departure, and represents a way of viewing the world that it is unlikely to have been shared by people in the past. Indeed, as Richard Bradley succinctly states with reference to stone features in particular, quote, "Perhaps the very distinction between ruined buildings and natural features is inappropriate in studying societies which lacked a modern understanding of geology," unquote. The relevance of this observation is strikingly illustrated in the case of Uisneach, a place where natural features, perhaps more than monuments, take centre stage. Now, I'm not going to go into it, but in terms of the prehistoric archaeology of Uisneach, there are at least 20 monuments visible at Uisneach, and more than half of those appear to be prehistoric. The most well-known, I think, of those, or not the most well-known, but I suppose the most well-studied by archaeologists, is the royal enclosure at Rathnew. But St. Patrick's Bed on the summit is assumed to be a megalithic tomb. And Cairn, isn't it Cairn Lua? The Cairn of Lugh is also supposed to be a prehistoric burial mound. Recent large-scale geophysical surveying has shown the presence of very large enclosures on the hill as well. I'm not going to go into that because I think that you wanted me to deal largely with the mythological, sacred, and the sacred, and I suppose the transcendent aspects. But one more thing, and I didn't have it prepared for tonight, but I definitely need to read to you from Michael Dames's wonderful work, which was originally published as Mythical Ireland, but later republished as Ireland, A Sacred Journey, in relation to Uisneach, and I think you will enjoy it. Just need to find it first. It's it's on the big bookshelf at the bottom. So it's never too hard to find. Hang on a second. I think we need to find a nice place of prominence for Tom King's wonderful works of art, so that they can be seen. Well, at least that one can be seen. I hope you're enjoying that. Triskel or tri-spiral, inspired by Shion Brewer Newgrange, and this wonderful pendant. Tom, who has a forge in County Meath, works with metal, and he's an incredibly talented craftsman. Now, if you just bear with me for one moment, I'm conscious of the fact that it's 5 to 9. I intend to wrap up in about 10 minutes. That would make it 9:05. That will give you plenty of time to use the lavatory, to go boil the kettle, to do what you have to do before heading over to the Uisneach page at 21 minutes past 21, 9:21 p.m., where they will light the fire and live stream it to the world. And then we'll come back on here and live stream our own little fire here for Bealtaine, and I invite you all to do the same. 188, I think. Let's see if that's... because I don't have it marked. Here we go. Yeah, this is... I think you'll agree. Anyway, I'll let again, this is Michael Dames. Ireland, A Sacred Journey. Originally published under the title Mythical Ireland. And Ireland, A Sacred Journey was published by Element Books in 2000, but first published as Mythical Ireland in Great Britain by Thames and Hudson in 1992. An extraordinarily poetic work, a beautiful scholarly and poetic work. Anyway, let me just read this, and then we'll wrap things up. And it's a beautiful evening out there. It's a lovely early twilight there. Looking forward to getting the fire going. The Irish word for province, cócéige, also means a fifth. Yet the ancient and continuing division of the island into the 4 provinces of Ulster, Munster, Leinster and Connacht seems to leave no room for a fifth part. The discrepancy has sometimes been explained by recalling how, at certain historical periods, Munster was subdivided into 2, thereby turning the 4 provinces into 5. Yet many scholars think that the elusive fifth stands for something more fundamental. The likelihood is that ever since the Stone Age, and despite numerous boundary changes in detail, Ireland has been subdivided into 4 provinces held together by a mystical fifth, territorially elusive yet vital to the cohesion of the whole sacred array. And such a wonderful way with words, this man. Fabulous writer. Sorry, just getting the pendant to sit properly. The 5th province was called Meath. The 4+1 pattern, of which Meath formed the centre, could be seen as the outcome of Ireland's compact shape. Malin Head in the far north lies 248 miles or 400 kilometres from the south coast of Munster, compared with a maximum island width of 210 miles, 340 kilometres. This makes a quadrilateral division around a shared centre point a convenient arrangement. But since the mythic view of reality declares that efficiency is the outcome of a magical accord between the seen and the unseen, there is more to Meath than just simple geometry. Or is it Meath? Katrina, help me with this one. M-I-D-E, if you put the lenition on it. Should I be saying Meath or Midja, or what should I be saying? I'm not entirely sure. In Meath, people could encounter the gods on most sacred ground. Like a good idea, its space was small yet extendable. As a national head and brain, it coordinated intelligences from other provinces. Human spatial awareness has always been profoundly affected by the cardinal directions of the human body, to the furthest horizons of terrestrial and spiritual possibilities. Ancient god-filled space normally displayed the symmetries of the worshipper's frame, just as the envisaged gods often took anthropomorphic form. The left-right balance, Ulster-Munster, of human eyes, ears, nostrils, nipples, testes, arms, legs, and sets of fingers and toes, disposed evenly on either side of a central axis, is bisected at right angles by the equally physical reality of back, Connacht, and sunrise facing front, Leinster. From Meath The qualities specific to the mythic space of each of the surrounding 4 provinces were differentiated and coordinated into a divine island metabolism. G. Dumézil confirms that, quote, the natural concept of 4 cardinal points and a centre is found widely on every continent, unquote, and forms the basis of numerous cosmologies. Somebody says ovaries as well. Correct, Megan. Thank you for pointing that out. The Indian Rig Veda speaks of the 5 directions as north, south, east, west, and here. In ancient Ireland, Mia was here to everyone. It was held in common. Done. Mia is pronounced me. Okay, me. M-I fada. Fine. That's brilliant. Okay, thanks for that, Katrina. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't getting too lyrical with the pronunciation. Me, the notional centre of Ireland, was conceived as a point where an umbilical cord attached the country to the womb of the gods, who endlessly created and sustained its existence from above and below. Yet me was a real place, namely the hill of Uisneach, or Uisneach, now in County Westmeath. It was also identified with the large boulder called Isle na Mireann, standing on Uisneach's southwest slope, and with the various archaeological sites visible on the hill. The extensive view of the Irish Midlands gained from Uisneach may also be regarded as integral to me, but not just in the sense of the political annexation that King Tuathail Techtmar attempted and for a while sustained in the 2nd century CE, nor should mythic Meath be confused with the modern counties of Meath or Westmeath. Seen from Meath, the energies of the 4 provinces could be woven by enlightened observation into a web of radial and concentric place events. From Meath, the array of distant hills and mountains, and the solar and lunar risings or settings that coincided with their summits, were the stuff of a God-given mandala. This served to reveal sacred Ireland in its entirety and set it within the orb of a divine universe rendered synonymous with the eyeball of the human worshipper. Laura Adomatroy is in the house. Jiagwich Laura, fáilte. The Irish word Mia means neck, and the 5th province may be regarded as the means of joining head to body, idea to thing, and body to soul. Mia was almost nothing, yet it was everything. It was the making of a divine island, called by the name of a living goddess, Eru. And her name, every province. In her name, every province had a place. She was their collective origin and product. The comprehensive landlady who built, owned, named, and lived in the island home. The centre 5th province of Meath can be condensed into Isle na Mireann, the stone of divisions. The Yellow Book of Lecan describes how the god Fintan, son of Ochian, returned to Isle na Mireann. It is long since I drank a drink of the deluge over the navel of Uisneach, says the god, implying that the flood of prenatal waters were also centred over Ireland's mother stone. Fintan's task was to re-establish the stone at the core of national life after Tara had threatened to disrupt the pattern. He was asked, "O Fintan, how has our island been divided?" He replied, "Knowledge in the west, battle in the north, prosperity in the east, music in the south, royalty at the centre." At Isle na Mireann, the attribute of provincial directions combined into a synthesis where royalty was the display of the divine on earth. The points of the great provinces run toward Uisneach. They have divided yonder stone through into 5, explained Fintan, and he assigned a ridge of it to every province in Ireland. Oh, wow. And that is the wonderful work of Michael Dames, D-A-M-E-S, Ireland, A Sacred Journey, or some of you may have the earlier version of this book, which was Mythic Ireland, published by Thames and Hudson in 1992. So it has been my absolute pleasure. Now we have to hand over to the people of Uisneach, the custodians of the sacred land there, who I can tell you, the Clark family, are very, very deeply appreciative of the land upon which they farm, and they understand its sacredness, and are fully open to the fact that it has been this mythical, mystical sacred centre, not just geographically, but spiritually for the people of Ireland for a long time. So we hand over to them now in, what is it, about 16 or 17 minutes time. David Clark and his wife Angela and their family are going to light the Bealtaine fire on Uisneach. And isn't it wonderful? Isn't it truly, truly wonderful that an ancient ritual that was performed there centuries and centuries ago, and probably, let's be honest, deep into the mists of prehistory, has been reinstituted by the people who are living on the land and farming from the land and who have a very close connection to it. And something that we should say about the Bealtaine fire is that it is a fire of purification. And I wonder if we shouldn't also direct our thoughts and our prayers and all our good wishes towards ridding the world of this terrible thing that is called COVID-19 or coronavirus. And that today our purification should be around, our thoughts of purification should be around that and for a future without it. In the meantime, thanks all for watching in. It's been a wonderful episode. It's been a very active episode. I see lots of comments and a huge number of viewers. It's always my great pleasure to do these things. If you want to catch up on previous episodes, if this is your first time visiting, they're all viewable in one place on the Mythical Ireland website at mythicalireland.com. I'm just going to paste in the link here where you can catch up on all of the previous 54 episodes embedded into one place for your convenience. If not, go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mythical Ireland, or indeed here on the YouTube or here on the Mythical Ireland page on Facebook. If you just go into videos, you should see a lot of the previous episodes. You should see all of the previous episodes. They might not just be organized because they'll be interrupted by any other live broadcasts that I did. So the best place to go is to the Mythical Ireland blog, where you'll see them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't forget to join us in about half an hour after the Uisneach fire has been live streamed. I'm going to light our fire here, and I invite you, as I said, please light a flame, light your fire, or light a candle, light some sort of flame. Share. I'm not sure if you can live stream them on the Mythical Ireland community. Share them with the Uisneach page, your pictures and videos, and share them with the Mythical Ireland community on Facebook. And again, I should just copy a link to that in, because that is a separate community to the page that you're watching this on Facebook. This is the Mythical Ireland Facebook page. That is the Facebook community where everybody can post. So I'll just post that in here again as a comment beneath. So we'll see you all in a little while. Thanks for coming along tonight. And don't forget that tomorrow night, again, we're continuing the Bealtaine Uisneach theme by talking about Eru, Banba and Fola, the triplicate tutelary or guardian goddesses of Ireland. And Eru, of course, is associated with Uisneach. So we'll see you all in a little while. Slán go fóil, mo bhannacht ormh, and in case you're not able to hang around for the lighting of the fires, Colo Sáv, and we'll see you tomorrow night. In the meantime, all the best. I'm Anthony Murphy. It's been really lovely having you along in Teach Mhorchu. And see ya, YouTubers. I'm not going to be live streaming the fire outside on YouTube because I would have to bring the computer out. It's only going to be Facebook. But what I'll do afterwards is I will download the video from Facebook and upload it to YouTube, and hopefully you'll get to see it. In the meantime, slán go fóil agus colas off.